Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. So today's subject is, again, about insurance. I don't want to beat this one with a dead horse, but insurance, you know, every time we talk about insurance, we're always talking about Florida and homeowners insurance.
Yep.
But there's some articles that came out, and it's not just a Florida problem. It's a California problem. It's a Louisiana problem.
Yep, it seems like it's an everywhere problem now.
Yeah, it's getting to the point that it's a national problem, and I don't see any solutions. Everybody just says, "Oh, our rates are going up. Our rates are going up," and a lot of people, you know, what they're doing is they're going without insurance.
Right.
And they don't have a mortgage, so they could, but the people, you know, that have a mortgage have to have insurance.
Right.
So basically, in that case, if they can't afford it, what do they do?
That's the million-dollar question. You know, if you can't afford, if you just decide that you're not going to pay your insurance, you're just like, hey, I'm going to drop it. Your lender can place what's called forced insurance on your property because you do need to have it insured. They need to protect their investment.
Right.
And
that's expensive.
That's really expensive.
You know, and if you refuse to pay that, you could
potentially lose your house.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons the insurance companies, you know, and we're going to go over some of the reasons, but one of the reasons that, you know, insurance companies said, hey, we have to raise the rates is just the cost because of inflation, the cost to rebuild.
Right. Yeah. Not only just because of, you know, damage from storms and different, you know, disasters, man-made or natural, but building materials have gone up. Labor costs,
crazy amount.
Right. Not, you know, we've come down. Obviously, we've stabilized over the past couple of years, but you know, labor costs are up, and material costs are up as well. So everything, you know, inflation has pretty much affected everything in all walks of life at this point.
Right. And, you know, and another thing that insurance companies are talking about, saying, hey, we got to raise the rates, you know, is insurance fraud. So the few people that commit insurance fraud, like say on roofs, like it was a big thing in Florida, people have a 20, 25-year-old roof and they're like, oh, I had hail damage. I want a new roof because of the rules, the way they were placed.
Right.
And it was cheaper for the insurance companies just to pay out than go to court because they hire, you know, a middle person that makes money too. So the lawyers make money, the roofers make money, and the big losers, the insurance company and the homeowners, you know, they get a new roof, but they might have a hard time getting insurance in the future,
right,
or a cheap thing. Right,
and their premiums could be a lot higher. So once you start averaging that out, your roof just got really, really expensive, potentially.
Yeah, and the few people that have done it are hurting the majority of the people, you know, that pay for the roofs,
right,
you know. And listen, don't get me wrong, there's some legitimate claims, you know, like, you know, there's storms here in Florida, and I know for a fact there's a legitimate claim. You know, I have a friend that lives near me, and his roof was actually leaking into his bedroom,
right,
you know?
Yeah, we had the same thing. Somebody I know had an issue with their roof, and it was towards the latter part of its life, but we had a really, really bad hailstorm, and we had a ton of evidence on that because everybody was sharing. It would look like snow out in my front yard. You know, we didn't get the damage that they did, but I took photos, and it really looked like I dumped a cooler out over my entire front yard in midsummer.
That's
it was
crazy.
Insane.
So basically, yeah, insurance fraud. I mean, again, before everybody jumps down my throat, there are legitimate claims.
Of course.
But there's a lot of frauds happened, and insurance companies know it was fraud, but for them, it was easier to settle than drag it on.
Right.
All right, so another problem insurance companies have is reinsurance. So basically, was it Lloyd's of London reinsured a lot of people?
I believe that's correct, yep.
Okay. So insurance companies have insurance companies.
Everybody's got an insurance company.
So basically, if the insurance company can't cover everything, you know, they have insurance to help them cover stuff. And because of inflation again and the cost and everything, they raised their rates
right,
dramatically.
Right. So it's just, again, it goes right back to inflation. Everything, everywhere is starting to go up, and it's literally affecting everything. So hopefully we'll get this under control here soon.
But how?
I know. It's, we keep from, lending, we've increased the rates there. So hopefully we've got that a little bit under control, but that hopefully would curb people's spending, which would then bring the inflation down. Hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean, when was the last time you saw insurance rates reverse?
Right.
You know?
I don't know that I could put my finger on that, to be honest with you. Once they're there, they're there. We just kind of get used to it and stabilize. It's kind of like, fuel. It goes up and down a little bit, and you can shop around. Obviously, the more choice you have in insurance, just like anything else, supply and demand, the more choices you have for insurance carriers, probably the, potential better rate that you get would be.
Right. Okay. So another one is the natural disasters. So natural disasters goes back to the cost of rebuilding. Like one natural disaster could cause billions of dollars in damages.
Right. I just actually spoke with a person yesterday, checking in on some of my past clients and just friends in Sphere and people I know, and they are out of town, but they had damage from our hurricane that came through here recently, and they kind of were touching on that exact sentiment that the cost has just gone through the roof. And so, but it's getting to the point. Listen, I know for a fact, and you could talk about this one, but I know for a fact that there's real estate deals dying because of insurance. Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before on a video.
Yeah, but explain the importance. Like, everybody is so committed to, like, hey, what's the property taxes going to be? What's the property tax?
Everybody, I had this, I had this conversation yesterday and today, actually. These people are very, very, very adamant about their property taxes, and these taxes are just so high. So they wanted to go look in another area. But what I was, trying to explain and articulate to them, we're talking, $50 or $100 difference yearly in taxes on the areas that we were looking at.
Okay.
So that it wasn't change anything. Where I keep trying to focus people's attention is call and get your insurance quotes and get a ballpark figure on insurance. Don't just assume what the previous owner was paying is going to be what you're paying for your insurance premium. Because it's based on you, the person, not only the house, but it's going to be based on you and your history as well. Obviously, I'm not an insurance broker or anything of that nature, but
neither am I. You should talk to your insurance professional, but
you do have a history. So if you've got a history of multiple claims, or just like you had mentioned, earlier, that could affect your insurance rates. Everybody has issues. There's always legitimate claims, and those aren't necessarily an issue, but it's no different than car insurance. History is history.
Right. And that's the whole thing is I had a cancellation on a home inspection last week, and the reason was insurance. So I asked them, I said, well, why don't you just find another insurance company, And they said, not even Citizens will insure it. It was right on the water.
Wow.
It was a ranch. Ooh. And it was one of the houses that got flooded recently with 2 or 3 feet, even though it was fixed up.
Yep.
So they fixed it up and they were selling it. And those people had a claim on it, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But now Citizens is like, no, we're not going to insure it either.
So that really limits your buyer pool to cash, buyers that are going to use, that are going to self-insure or not insure particularly.
Yeah,
but not going to carry a premium on their house.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, so you can't get insurance on the house. Okay. Hopefully you get fire, theft, and liability at least. But let's just say you can't get insurance. And the house flooded once before, or twice before, or 3 times before. Like this particular house, since I've been in that area, it probably flooded twice.
Oh, wow.
That's in the last 5 years,
Okay.
So it's going to flood again.
Yep. Sounds like it.
So and then you have to rebuild it. So I guess what my thing is, what do people do in that situation?
Well, find a really good insurance broker that can give you all your options, and hopefully at the bare minimum you can get, liability insurance and fire, etc. But self-insure, or hopefully somebody will come onto the market. I know a good quality, insurance provider, they can get pretty creative when it comes down to things and split policies. And I'm just going off of things that I've seen and things that I've done personally.
Right.
But I think the most important thing is really have a really, really, really good insurance broker, and not just go online and let me get my quick and easy policy. Somebody that you can talk to.
I mean, I don't know the exact number, but a lot of insurance companies pulled out. I know because every week I feel like I hear about a new insurance company.
I can't keep track of it anymore.
Yeah, pulling out of Florida. But, I also just read, California's having the same problem, right, and Texas is having the same problem. And, just a lot of southern states too.
Yeah, everybody's probably, I would imagine that everybody has their own unique situations that affect the insurance carriers and their profit or loss, no matter where we're at in the country.
So this is not a Florida problem anymore.
Now I think we've kind of expanded out a little bit to not just Florida. I don't really know the northern area, but I think snow and fire and issues like that would probably be prevalent up there. There's tornadoes, there's hurricanes,
natural disasters. And you have to look at it. If State Farm loses, I don't even know if they're here anymore, but they doubled down in Florida. But if they lose $2 billion on a storm, you don't think they're going to spread it out to their policyholders across the country? They will.
Of course.
It's not like, we're just going to charge people more in Florida, which they will. But
we're going to be the higher end of the premium, I'm sure.
But they're going to charge people in Ohio a little bit more money too to make up that loss.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to spread the wealth.
Okay, Bill, so here's the situation, okay? And I want you to think about it. So somebody has a house, and they've been living in the house 5 years, never had claims, never had any issues with insurance, but their insurance, they get the new bill in the mail, because it happened to me too, and their insurance bill went from, say, $3,000 to $6,000.
Okay.
They can't pay it. There's no ifs, whats, or buts, and it's not that they don't want to pay it. They just don't have the money.
Okay.
That's it. They don't have the money. But they have a mortgage, so they can't walk away from insurance.
Right.
So let's go over what their options are. One is shop around, but a lot of people do shop around and they still can't find insurance. So
right. They're already to the lowest that they can find.
Yeah.
They've maxed out their discounts and.
Yeah. And even here in Florida, they're going to Citizens. That's like the basic of insurance.
Right.
All right. So the second thing is they could do is, I guess, sell the home. And a lot of people are starting to sell the home.
Unfortunately, that is an option. If you can't afford for the house, then but before you do that, you should really weigh out your options, because if you go into a rental, maybe you're downsizing the house and you're going to go into a rental. Just look at your rental market, because they have insurance on their properties as well, and you just want to make sure that you actually are getting a savings if you're going to, potentially give up your home.
Okay, but my question basically is, people just what do you do if you just can't afford it, other than sell?
You've exhausted the second job. Unfortunately, put it maybe on a credit card or something.
So you basically
just to get by. I mean,
get by. Is it worth it? Stressing out because of homeowners insurance that you've had for years, but you never had a claim?
I mean, that's a question only that the individual person could answer, really.
I know, but I mean, I just don't see.
I think for me, if you're asking me personally.
Yeah, but you personally, yeah.
So if you're asking me personally, I think that I would rather do whatever I could do to pay those bills and keep my house, or condo, or wherever you live. But I think I would do whatever I could. If it's, drive, whatever I could do, if I had to sell my blood or something, you know, because I just saw that on a show the other day.
That's a little
so it popped into my head.
He's not recommending anybody sell their blood. So
I don't even think they sell blood. It's just a TV thing.
Okay.
So, like, I've never seen anybody that work. But, you know, I think I would do whatever I had to do, you know, and if, you know, you have a partner, same thing. You know, you could get if you a roommate. There's just, it's a tough
I mean, I did a video a while ago on things you could do to maybe help lower your cost of your homeowners insurance. Check it out. I'll try to link it below. And, you know, maybe you could do some of those things to lower your homeowners insurance. But it's a tough situation. And we're going to keep you guys updated because, you know, according to the sheet that I have, insurance companies have lost billions in the last 3 years, 25 billion.
Right. They've lost a lot of money. You know, and is it just sensationalized now and they're just using it as an excuse? I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm just playing double-edged sword here, looking at it from both angles. You know, it's because it's a hot topic, right? The real estate industry as a whole is a hot topic.
Yeah.
You know, so are they just kind of sensationalizing it? Yes, because we always have storms, hurricanes, and natural disasters all over the country all the time. So how much of a difference was this really?
Yeah.
Other than the inflation, which I know that has to be a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. Obviously, we don't have a solution to the problem.
I wish we did.
I know, we don't. But anyways, I just want to talk to you about everybody being so frustrated about insurance, and it's not just a Florida thing anymore, it's a national thing. So if you like this kind of content, do me a favor, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you can get notified next time we upload a video. But I really appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day. Talk to you soon.
See you on the next one.
Bye.